This call is from a federal prison.
Well, I appreciate you giving me a voice and giving me time, yeah.
I, like a huge portion of the world, watched the docuseries The Tiger King on Netflix when it first came out.
And then you got the one guy in Tiger King that's essentially running like a little sex cult, right? That guy.
Doc Antle.
Yeah, and then you've got the Tiger King himself.
Joe.
You got Joe Exotic, who is also kind of running a strange little sex cult. But, you know, he's just got all this personality, and he's so interesting and fascinating. And if he wasn't in jail, it's really unfortunate, you know, because if he wasn't in jail, he'd be a very popular person.
Joe Maldonado, a.k.a. Joe Exotic, a.k.a. Tiger King, is very interesting. He's also not someone I thought I would ever talk to.
I got that. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's great to hear from you.
A couple months ago, I put out a reel on Instagram that blew up. And after the dust settled on the initial fury of comments, I noticed that one person in particular had commented. The guy with the name Joe Exotic. I just thought it was some random person on Instagram using that name. But when I looked into it, it was the real guy. And not only did he comment on the reel, he also followed me. So I gave him a follow back and asked him to be on my podcast. What was supposed to be a 10-minute phone call turned into a 15-minute phone call, which then turned into another 15-minute phone call. The following are some highlights from that 30 minutes. For the full conversation, go to nickbeaton.com/podcast.
I have 5 people out there all over the world, one in the United Kingdom and one in Indiana, 2 in Florida, and 1 in Ohio that run my social media. So sometimes I don't know what the hell they're putting out there. They usually send me emails and copy and paste everything. I kind of know what's going on, but no, man. They told me they got me an interview with you on your podcast. I'm thrilled.
Oh man, I'm so happy that you were happy to come on here. So let's do the thing that you definitely want to get out there first, which is your plea for clemency from Donald Trump. Why don't you tell everybody about what you're hoping to get done here?
Well, long about June of last year, I filed a clemency application to the White House, which actually goes to Ed Martin, the U.S. pardon attorney. And you know, I've been asking for a pardon, but you know how my president's a convicted felon 34 times over, so I don't even need a pardon. I just want time served if that kind of lets the government save a little face.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I have all of the witnesses have admitted to perjury and a plot to kill me and everything else.
So I want
just give me time served and let me go the fuck home, you know?
Yeah, look, I rewatched the doc over the weekend, and one of the things that I thought was, how is Joe the only fucking guy in jail right now?
Well, that's why I call myself a political prisoner, because they put me in prison, made that show, passed the Big Cat Safety Act, put everybody out of business, okay? And I don't know if you saw season 2 or not. They, you know, in season 2, they raided Jeff's zoo twice. They confiscated all his animals for violating the Endangered Species Act and animal cruelty and all that bullshit. And then the hitman admitted, took them to the zoo and showed them how they were going to kill me. I don't understand why no one else got a charge of anything.
Yeah, it was shocking. It was shocking. Just even from season 1, it was shocking. There's
Jeff and James.
Yeah, Jeff. When Jeff got involved, that was when I was like, "This seems fucking shady, man."
No, it's real. It was real shady. You know, Carol couldn't put me out of business by suing me because I worked my ass off and paid the lawyer bills to keep going in court. Jeff just wanted my zoo, so he teamed up with Carol and got his buddy Alan to convince the feds that I paid him to kill Carol. And the federal wildlife agent, Matthew Bryant, he was as deep involved in it as anybody, you know, because his boss, Dan Ash, the director of the Federal Fish and Wildlife, is the president of the AZA, the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. So when they wrote the Big Cat Safety Act and they got Kamala Harris to co-sign it, they arrested me, made me look like a fool on TV, and then they nicknamed the Big Cat Safety Act the Tiger King bill. They got it passed through the House and the Senate, and then Joe Biden signed it. And now Carol Baskin and all of her friends are the only ones exempt from the Big Cat Safety Act.
I got to tell you, man, you're a funny dude. There was like points that I forgot about because I hadn't seen it since when it first came out. And when you were trolling Carol Baskin and you put her face on a fucking old man in a diaper, I laughed out loud. I was like, this is apex trolling. Like that was really, really good. Now,
This
okay.
call is from a federal prison.
Though they never really told the truth in that whole damn documentary. Because
Well, that is one thing
I
that I wanted to
never-
ask you. So I wanted to say, so you watched, obviously you've seen it, and when you watched it, you've said very much that they paid people to say things that weren't true, that they made shit up out of whole cloth. When you watched it, what was the biggest moment that you saw where you were like, "That's bullshit. That is the biggest like misrepresentation of me," or what happened?
Well, I mean, I was pretty disgusted with the whole thing.
Yes, I
Because
assume.
John Finley accused me of burning down my own TV studio, and I was in Chicago at a funeral. He knew that, and him and Rinky and Rick Kirkham were the only three at the zoo. So if I had anybody burn it down, it had to be one of them. If the whole show would have been about tigers and trying to save the conservation of tigers, they would have interviewed her in front of that tiger cage because she took the blame for everything. So we didn't have to euthanize that tiger. And they could have set her in front of that cage. She could have talked about the story with that tiger and why conservation of wild tigers is so important. But they set her in a junkyard, dude, to make it look like the zoo was a junkyard. Okay, now you take Doc is the only other one in jail right now. Okay, they got him for human trafficking, wildlife trafficking, money laundering, and animal cruelty, and he got 1 year and 1 day.
Yeah.
I got 22 years.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, like, whether there's any justification at all. 22 years seemed pretty fucking steep, man.
Well, if you look it up on the internet, the dude that went to Judge Kavanaugh's house, the Supreme Court judge, to kill him, actually had a gun and a lockpick and a knife and a list of other judges to kill. And that motherfucker only got 7 years. How does Carol Baskin rate 22 years and a federal judge only 7?
One thing I do want to ask, though, is there anything, though, that you saw in watching the documentary that you thought, I don't like that, but it's fair? Like they did actually show anything correct at all?
Well, I mean, everything that you saw of me was actually scripted for a reality show. They took that off on my YouTube channel.
Right.
Okay, because I didn't film for Tiger King. I was in jail 2 years before Tiger King was filmed, and I was.
Whoa! 1 second there. That you were in jail for 2 years before the documentary was filmed?
I was in jail September the 7th of 2018 and held without bond.
So I knew that some of it was like an amalgamation of stuff from that was the YouTube channel for the reality show, but I didn't realize that it was all filmed for the reality show and they just cut that footage together.
They did every bit of it, and then they didn't even give me a dime for the whole show. I didn't get paid a dime. The accurate part was, yeah, I picked on Carol Baskin a whole lot. Carol Baskin picked on me a whole lot, and that's how we made money. I never seen Carol Baskin or talked to Carol Baskin until the day of my trial in 2019. Okay,
You has no direct communication at all.
never. Carol sat down there in Florida on her Facebook and her website called it 911 Animal Abuse, and she made me to be her most wanted because she made money convincing her followers that I abused baby tigers by taking them away from their mom and letting you pet them. Okay, I had JoeExoticTV.com, and I made my money and followers by convincing people that she was batshit crazy and she killed her husband.
Yeah, she did really come off as batshit crazy. I remember.
Oh, dude, she is just crazier than hell. That's all it was an internet war to make money off each other.
One thing I would ask, do you regret, because I know, okay, so you guys were doing the internet stuff and coming back and forth at each other, and that's all fair, fun, and
This
good.
call is from a federal prison.
But when you did made the move to kind of take her name. I understand it was like an internet move again, but do you
Right.
think that might have been the one big mistake? Because that's when it seems to kind of really unfold, where they
You know
start to
what?
really
Where
get.
are you talking about? Where I used Big Cat Rescue Entertainment?
Yes.
Now I did that so all of the animal rights people and the people bitch would harass her. That was actually a funny move.
Yeah.
The move that I regret was ever letting Jeff Lowe in my circle.
Yeah, it seemed that way too. Again, watching it, I know they build it as a story, but when he started to come in, as soon as I saw him, I was just like, "This is not going to work out for Joe."
See, when me and Carol, I had Carol at bay, in court, the right way. She tried to sue me, and I defended myself. I don't remember if it was episode 1 or episode 2 of Tiger King, but when Jeff finally got the zoo, Carol and Howard flew drones over the zoo and fucked with him and all that. See, she never did any of that with me. All I ever had to deal with was her internet bullshit. We have the evidence now that in 2017, him and James met at an Applebee's in Ardmore, Oklahoma. We have their text messages and the phone recordings now because they handed over all their phones. And you want to talk about some crazy shit on their phones, but they sat in an Applebee's before 2017 and called Howard, and his exact words were, "I can deliver Joe's head on a silver platter, but it's going to cost you."
This is Carol's husband.
That's Jeff calling Carol's husband.
That's
Yes,
Jeff calling Carol's husband. Yes, yes. So
right. Saying he could deliver my head on a silver platter, but it was going to cost Howard. Okay, and that's when they started the murder for hire setup. We have everything. We have the phone that Alan used. We have the FBI, the federal agents, text messages saying, "Hey, look, you got to get Joe to say that he gave you a cell phone and you made a call. That's the only reason it makes it federal." Oh, it was crazy how they set this all up.
Yeah.
Nick, I can call you back at like 4:45 if you want me to.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Yeah, let me just call you back at 4:45 and we'll do another 15 minutes.
That's amazing.
Okay. All right. Talk to you then.
All right, talk to you then.
That's just a highlight from the first half of the call with Joe Exotic. Down in the description below, I'm going to put in links to the Apple and Spotify podcast, or you can head over to nickbeaton.com/podcast. Thanks so much.